Hello Creality friends, we are going to go ahead and slice our first file for the Creality K1 3D printer. To do this, we are going to use a test dog. The first thing I want you to do is download the test dog and drag it onto your plate. Here you can see the test dog has appeared on your K1 print bed. You can look around by holding down your right mouse button and moving your mouse pointer. You can also hold down the center wheel of your mouse to move the actual bed around. Get a view you like and leave him right there. Creality Print is a little different looking than other slicers you may be accustomed to, so let's go ahead and find some of the basic features and set them for this slice. The first thing we're going to do is make sure we have the correct nozzle chosen, and it's the K1 with the 04 nozzle. We are going to use Hyper PLA. If you're not going to use Hyper PLA, choose something else such as Silk or Generic. Down here, you'll see an Edit and an Add button. Many of the features you're looking for are hidden within the Edit menu. Click on Edit. Here you will see your layer height set at 0.2. We're going to leave these things alone. Looking down, you will see Infill. And here is the infill density set default at 15%. Something like this test dog, we can go ahead and print with far less infill. I'm going to use 6% for this model. Clicking down here, you'll see speed. These are your typical speed settings. I do think Creality is a little aggressive when it comes to these default speeds, and they could lead to some issues with your printer and with print fails and quality and other things of the like. So I'm going to bring things down to 250, which is still extremely fast and many times faster than your average 3D printer. I will leave the rest alone as I find these are a lot more conservative and I'm comfortable with these numbers. I even wouldn't mind going slower than the 250, but we're going to leave the 250 here. Should we see a reason to go lower, we can always do that in the future. I'm a big fan of slowing down the first layer. This is already fairly slow for this printer, but we can go ahead and lower this more if you'd like. For example, 40 or 50. If you needed support, you would check this box. However, we do not need support for this dog, so we are going to uncheck this box. The material, the cooling, the extruder, all these settings are right here. Here's another common one. How would you like to print? With auto brim, brim, lace, none, raft, or skirt. Auto brim means the slicer will decide whether or not to use a brim and how to apply it. I would rather you manually choose to use a brim or not. This dog does not need a brim. Go ahead and choose a skirt. Here you will also find special modes, mesh fixes, and experimental settings. We won't be using any of these for this dog. Go ahead and click Save. Moving to the left, you will find additional settings. To activate these, you must first click a model. So we will select this model. He turns blue, and here we can go ahead and do things such as move the model, resize the model, rotate, P-bottom, layout, supports, and others. Let's go back and look at P-bottom. P-bottom is for positioning the model on a surface. In other slicers, such as Cura, if you would like to position the model on a certain area, you simply click on that model surface and it will put that surface on the print bed. Creality Slicer does it a little bit differently. Those of you who work with Bamboo Slicer and other similar slicers have seen this before. It is presenting you with the various possible options for surfaces to position on the plate as the bottom of the model. For example, if you want to position it on its head, you can go ahead and click this one right here, and it's going to position the model on its head. However, we do not want to position this poor dog upside down on its head, so we are going to choose this gigantic surface right here, representing the flat sections of its feet. Click on that, and the slicer will return the doggo to his feet, where we are going to go ahead and leave him just like this. We will exit this prompt by clicking on Move. Now that all of these settings are the way we want, we will set our most important feature, and that is the Z-seam. I like to save this for last so that I can go back and forth to preview. Clicking on Edit, we'll click on Shell, and that's where you will find your Z-seam settings. You will see Z-seam alignment. We're going to click this, and I like to choose User Specified. This allows you to put it in a specific place. I'm going to choose Back. You will press Save, and then we will preview our selections and our Z-seam. Prior to slicing, I will save my project, just in case slicing crashes the project. Go ahead and click on Slice, and now we can preview the results of our selections and the position chosen for our Z-seam. Here is our Z-seam running down the back. For this test, I'm going to consider that acceptable, because the Z-seam is not anywhere our eyes will typically land when looking at this printed model. From here, you have some options to print through your local network, to print through Creality Cloud, or to export to local. I am actually going to print through Creality Cloud, but I'm going to export to local for backup, and then I will upload manually through crealitycloud.com and print to my K1 from there. So click on Export to Local and save your G-code. Congratulations, you have sliced your first model and it's ready for printing on your Creality K1 3D printer.